Sorry, brother. I read 7:15 the last time I checked. Maybe I looked at it wrong. Like, that's fine. No. If I read it wrong, I just read it wrong. Maybe off. 7. The way Jazzy was talking when I was talking to him, it was 6:49. The other two hadn't even shown up.
Hi, stream.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Saints broadcast. I'm Theo, known as the Holy One. I'm joined by Patrick, known as Chambers. We have a doubleheader on our hands today. We have some Rocket League and a Valorant action. But the first game we're going to be covering is going to be Rocket League against a Shawnee State. Patrick, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. I think this is going to be a very successful day for the Saints, at least on paper. It should be, but we've seen closer matchups before. Going into Rocket League immediately, it's going to be St. Clair Green going up against Shawnee State. Shawnee State 0-1 right now in the NACE Varsity Premier League. They lost a series 3-1 from West Virginia, but again, those guys have pulled off close series against our Saints. We know that they have Gyro on the team now, so that's a revamped roster. They're looking better than ever, and they proved to be a little too much for Shawnee State. But we've beaten West Virginia before, so going into it, I was talking to Jazzy a little bit before this series kicks off, and he was saying they feel pretty comfortable. They should be able to get the job done. However, sometimes when they face competition that they believe they should be able to beat quite easily, it doesn't always work out the same way. We saw against Bruton Parker College, they almost sold that series and it went to game 5. So you never really know until it happens, and that's just kind of how the Saints season has been so far. Despite them being 4-0, they've definitely shown gaps.
Yeah, there's definitely been things here and there that they could definitely improve, but Record is 4-0, and let's take a look at our lineup. The main three here, Arju, Jazzy, and Zai, have been playing very, very well this season, most of the time. And it seems like even when they do slip up in games, they lose games against teams they shouldn't. They always get back on track immediately, and it seems like with a lot of our teams, when it really matters most, when it comes to those game fives in close situations, the Saints are always there to come out on top. So 4-0, definitely expecting them to win today, as they do as well, but definitely won't be an easy game, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, no series is technically easy when you're in the Varsity Premier League. Anybody can pull an upset, but I mean, these guys, I wouldn't think they're the type to really bottle a series. We have Jazzy and Zai from the RLCS team of Verstaland and the RLCS, sorry, my bad. And also Arju, who's on Team Evo with the coach Shuffleverse coaching that team as well. Just barely missing out on the Birmingham Major. They got eliminated in Swiss. I know I don't want to remind Arju, but it happened. But they're through with that. They actually had a series last time that we were casting where they just came fresh off of those losses and their mental was a little bit down, and yet they still proved resilient. So now they've had a week and a little bit of change to rest on that. I'm sure it's past them now, and they are all 100% ready to go, raring to go, and are going to bring their A game.
Yeah, I think a big thing they're looking forward to, they're perfect so far. They want to close out the season on the same note, try and go flawless, try and prove to everybody that you can take everyone down before the playoffs. So when playoffs do come around, you are feared. Everyone knows what's coming, and the Saints, if they're able to have a good flawless season, their confidence will boost right back up. They'll forget about any losses they've had throughout the season. So I think it's important for them to keep up their winning ways today.
Yeah, absolutely. That's just how you've got to put it. Looking at the Saints, though, and what they have to watch out for, I think is just on defense sometimes. I see them get a little too close together. Sometimes double commits at the near post happen. That's something that they usually clean up very fast, but I've seen it before where they fumbled games away because of errors like that, errors where they're not getting back on transition fast enough. I keep on bringing it up, but there's that series against Durham where we saw that before. And again, the only reason why these are series again that we can call out is because these players are so good that stuff like this rarely happens, but when it does, you really do have to apply the emphasis that anything is possible, because it just genuinely is. For things that I think Shawnee State need to watch out for, Jazzy has been an absolute nightmare for teams to deal with. He is so far has been adopting this new aggressive role very well, looking for any backline demolitions, any bumps, even threat of bumps, stuff to get defenders off their position and off their line. Boost steals, I mean, it's just been absolutely incredible. And I think he's really one to watch for Shawnee State, because if you don't have Jazzy accounted for, he's going to go in when the Saints have that possession, which I would expect to do, because they are very dominant in the midfield. We've seen that before. I think Jazzy will have a field day if Shawnee State do not keep him in check, and I think that will allow the Saints offense to prosper. So if you are a Shawnee State fan, you're tuning in today, Jazzy's probably going to be the biggest thorn in your side, if I were to imagine, for your defense to deal with, and setting up to no others than Zai and Arju. I mean, it's a trio made in heaven. It really is.
Yeah, and the passing play from the Saints has been improving with every game. And one thing they do really well is they don't keep the same patterns over and over. They'll do the same thing maybe 3 times in a row for the first 3.5 minutes of the game. But then the last minute comes around, instead of going for a pass, they'll go for a fake. They'll throw their opponents off guard. And it really does work pretty often, because opponents, they set up for a single game plan and they get in the same habit of defending the same sort of attack in the same ways, and then as soon as something gets switched up, they're thrown off guard, everyone's all over the place, and when chaos arises on the defensive end and the Saints are attacking, it generally works out pretty well for them.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest problems with what defenses face with the Saints, not only is it Jazzy just absolutely destroying the back, but getting off of that, I think when the Saints are on the ball, again, obviously that is when they're most dangerous, but it's about the mentality of what they're going to do with that. They can go for the pass. We've seen that they each individually have brilliant mechanical skill. They can go for any mechanic they want when given the amount of space, time, and right boost number. I think that's the problem, is when you're going up against St. Clair Green. Let's say you see Arju on a solo play. Let's say you see Zai in the air, Jazzy. It doesn't matter. It could be any 3 of them. It's immediately the thought of what could happen that is the problem. right? Do you defend the solo play? Okay, that's cool. It happens once, but you don't know. They could try to go for a pass. You might see Zai pre-jumping somewhere. They might choose not to do that at all. It might just literally be phantom pressure just to get your eyes off of the initial solo play, and by the time you react off backboard defense, it's already too late. Not to mention the fact that you got to watch out for the aggressive rotation in the first man as well. So it's just absolute cinema for us here to watch when it does work out in the Saints' favor, being that we're from St. Clair, obviously. Yeah. We love watching the boys succeed, but if you're going up against them, you need to make sure that you have every situation accounted for, and that's, I think, what really raises the bar between good teams and great teams, and that's just what St. Clair Green is. They are a great team, RLCS caliber team, and I think because of elements like that, it really does show through gameplay.
Yeah, and these EU players have adapted to NA so well since they've been here. I mean, they've done a great job with the Saints here, and a great start to the season. Need to keep things going, obviously, but they're definitely feeling good about themselves. You'd think at this point in the season. Patrick, before we get into game, which we're gonna be getting into very soon, let's get some quick predictions. How do you see this one planning out?
Well, you know what? I was talking to Jazzy, and he says, to be fair, he does expect to win, but teams like this sometimes are hard to play against because maybe they don't follow the normal tendencies that they're used to seeing at, let's say, the RLCS level, right? Or the top of the top prime collegiate level from schools like Maryville who have RLCS talent on them, right? So sometimes that does actually, it is a double-edged sword because sometimes, schools can go for plays that they just aren't used to seeing, right? And again, that's just how great of players they are, is usually they're able to adapt quick. But because of that, sometimes games do go through, right? Slip through. And with a team like Bruton Parker as well, we saw that they not only let one go through the wayside, they let it get to game 5. So again, it's just really how fast Saints Green can adapt, in my opinion. For that reason, I'm going to go ahead and say I think Jazzy expects them to win 3-0, but I'm going to go ahead and say 3-1 and keep things interesting. I don't think I want an absolute sweep. I think Shawnee State, they could come out with some surprises.
Okay, I mean, that's a very well said. I'm going to go 3-0. I'm going to be confident in the Saints. I think
fair.
They're going to be able to take this one down, Patrick. I mean, getting into game soon, if you're the head coach for the Saints, as favorites, as they feel like favorites, as we think they are favorites, what do you kind of tell your team before a matchup like this to really make sure you don't get overconfident against maybe an opponent that hasn't looked as dangerous?
I think the thing with St. Clair is sometimes when they view an opponent that they think of less than, they go for very over-the-top plays and suffer from rotations, stuff like that. You can kind of tell when they switch on the serious gap, right? When they switch on and they all of a sudden start playing very much back to basics. And I think that's kind of how they always should play. I know sometimes you want to have fun, but at the same time, let's be competitively respectful here. I mean, at the same time, this is Varsity Premier. So I think that if I am Shuffle, if I am the coach, I'm just going through and I'm telling the players, hey, look, treat this like you would any other series. Let's just make sure everything's clean. Let's work on our rotations. Let's make sure that we're not messing up, double committing at that near post. Let's make sure we have that back post support. And let's just make sure that we're calming. Again, that's what they do so well, and I think that's what opens up the chance for all these team plays, for all those fakes to solos and all that type of stuff that we were going over earlier. It all comes from good communication. Jazzy being able to go down and find bodies to open up for shooting lanes. That can't just happen. That has to be calmed out because it wouldn't make sense if Jazzy was doing that and they didn't have the ball, right? So, for example, that's just a little prime example, but I think that, good comms. Make sure comms are clear, and let's just stick to the basics. Let's stick to what we know. Let's look for some good infield passing plays, and let's try to not double commit on defense.
Yeah, very well said there, Patrick. I think players are getting into game very, very soon here, but I think we might have to throw it to a very short break. So we're going to do that, and we'll be right back with the start of the first game. Hello everybody, welcome back. A very short break as the Saints looking to take on a Shawnee State in a Rocket League here. Once again, Saints are 4-0 on the season. Shawnee 0-1 on the season. Both teams looking to take the victory home today. Saints, definitely favorites here coming into this one. Gonna look to take this one down in relatively smooth fashion.
Yeah, I think, you know what, for St. Clair, I know we briefly touched on it, but I think that Jazzy is going to have the most significant role, just if you guys are just tuning in right now. I think the first man, what they do really well is Jazzy can open up to shooting lanes for Zai and Arju, and that's going to be something that hopefully they can take into consideration, Shawnee State, as they will have to defend it. Here we go. Shawnee State, the lineup of Duckworth, Slayer, and Spooky, and down the pass to Zai. It was almost an immediate early finish, but Shawnee State, they come away with the miss. The backboard defense from Slayer, but it's just the follow-ups that are so aggressive from St. Clair. Off the ceiling, it's going to be Zai. Double tap should come, tried and true. The reset is going to be a pass down to Arju. The 50 doesn't go through, though, and Shawnee State just barely survive.
They're holding on right now. Shawnee Saints putting on the pressure early to start off this matchup. Jazzy gonna win out on that 50. It's gonna go right to Slayer, who's gonna clear this one out. Saints get a quick reset, but here's Slayer, shot on target. Saints kind of fall apart defensively, and it's a quick, easy goal for Shawnee to start off the series.
And again, you know what? Arju, he was trying to just find a double off his own back wall to clear, but Zai had already moved a little too far up. And again, this is one of those things, right? If St. Clair, they start getting a little too fancy sometimes with their clears and their backboard pressure, sometimes stuff slips away, and that's a great example of it. So Shawnee State, I was going to say, you were looking good for a little bit, but immediately when they want to flip on the gears, they can do just that. Zai with the fake kickoff, and Arju just takes it all the way. Duckworth and Slayer, no one back near their net. Both kind of rotated a little too far up, and they pay for it.
Yeah, beautiful play out of the goal there. Shawnee, we're not ready for that one there. And now, tied up at one apiece, Slayer is going to be first one to start it off here. Which team will be able to pick up the third goal and go up again? It looks like Saints trying to do so on the attack. Jazzy gets it over his defender, gets the shot on target, but the save is there. It's going to let Spooky take some control of this one, but Zai quickly can get rid of that one. Now looking for a teammate in the middle. It's going to look to just clear it out. Jazzy going to be first one to it. Has a one-on-one here. The defender is able to get there, but Zai might have something to follow up here. Nice little bump there, which is going to give Jazzy an open goal. Beautiful teamwork coming out from the Saints.
I mean, this is just brilliant. It's Jazzy immediately with the air dribble and finds the 50. Zai uses the reset, finds the bump off to Duckworth, and that immediately opens up the entire left side of the net, and Jazzy is never going to miss a free look like that. Saints move up in the scoreboard, 2-1.
Still a lot of Rocket League left to play here, 3.5 minutes, but Shawnee pushing for their second. Slayer gets the shot on target, but a nice save there coming out from Zai, and now the counterattack begins for the Saints, but Shawnee slow it down, relatively good fashion. The big demo there comes out. Saints gonna have the advantage here, but Slayer is gonna clear this one out. Saints back in plenty of time though. Jazzy gets a 50 there, doesn't get too much of that one, but there's Zai with the follow-up. Arju now into the corner, looking to get it to a teammate, but good defense from Shawnee. A relatively even game for the past minute here. Now it's gonna be a chance for Shawnee, but a great save coming out there for the Saints.
And I think right now, St. Clair, they just got to stick composed. They got to make sure they have that back post support. Sorry, that's exactly what happened as the clear comes through. Demo goes down, but it's already been bounced back. And right now, both teams, they're fighting for midfield possession. Jazzy just a little too far deep. Has the boost now to go for a save, so both St. Clair members push back up. He's going to have to rotate, though, and there he is. Immediately has that pad, and he's just there for the security. Slayer, though, off the backboard, or the top wall, trying to see if he can find any shooter inbound, but none to answer the call. And as Zai gets ready for a shot or a pass over to Arju, it didn't fall through, and now Jazzy, all by his lonesome, has to try to defend here. It's going to be Arju who slips back, but a little bit of an awkward clear. Spooky off the wall, trying to see if he can get anything going, but no. Right now, the Saints, they're moving through. That pass, that pre-jump was almost so close, but it just didn't fall into fruition.
Oh, and a close shot on target. A nice save there from Zai. Beautiful job. Keeps the Saints in. Now the starter counterattack starting here for the Saints, but the finish won't be there. Saints struggling to find a third here, but getting good opportunities and relying on some big important saves here to keep themselves in the lead. So a very close game so far, I would say. Both teams with chances left and right, as Shawnee have been pushing for a second here for quite some time, but St. Clair holding on with everything they can.
And St. Clair, you know, they're just trying to play smart defensive ball, and when they get their free lanes in the midfield, they really drain a lot of time. The ceiling pinch over to the pass, it's not going to be found out though. Shawnee jump all over it. That was a triple commit. The third rotated up. I just saw it. And because of what I was talking about, the transition, sometimes they get a little too antsy on the attack. St. Clair, they've just bottled their lead, and now everything drawn at 2-2.
Yeah, it's done at 2-2, an easy goal. And yeah, exactly as you said, defense just overextends, and it's a very easy goal for Shawnee. Did not have to work too hard for that one. And you know, it's a very close match. If I'm the Saints, I don't know how I'm feeling about giving up a goal like that after defending with such good saves and such good counters. But now the Saints looking to push for a third. The shot's going to come out. Good defense from Shawnee. There's Zai, though, trying to get a flick onto the net. Wasn't able to get it. A good defense from Shawnee still. 55 seconds remain. We're tied up at 2, and considering everything, I mean, this has been just a pretty good game of Rocket League so far.
Well, again, right now, St. Clair, they're doing a good job of just draining time, but they need to find the answer. Zai, just a little too far off. But a great touch there will keep the overextension from happening from Arju. Reset, Zai, able to find the Musty as well, but can't get it off the backboard. It doesn't matter, the Arju's already up. The pre-jump from Jazzy as well can try to find the shot, but no answer comes through for St. Clair. 20 seconds left to go. Shawnee State, they're trying to build up an offense, but with all members on low boost and a demolition coming out, I don't know if they're going to be able to do that, Theo. Zai has a clear out, and with 15 seconds left, this could be the midfield play the Saints need. There's the pass. Where's the shot? The double, maybe he can go through, but no! It was Arju who saved his own shot. It didn't look like anyone from Shawnee was getting to it. Zai had a 50, and it almost actually went in. And the Saints, they might have one more play. The pass down to Zai, but no, nothing falls through, and the ball just barely drops. I believe Zai had the bump on the keeper, but the ball hits the ground, and we have overtime. I don't think for very long, though. The kickoff comes through for St. Clair, and as fast as everything stopped and everything reset for Shawnee State, it also fell apart in just that amount of time.
Yeah, an easy goal there for Arju, makes up for his little misplay in the
crazy.
in the last seconds of the regular time there. But Saints take game one, not the most dominant showing. A great match from both sides here. Saints, both goals from Shawnee just came from Saints' defensive mishaps. Let's just say how it is. And on the attacking end, Saints looked pretty good. Defensively, when they were there, when they were actually playing defense, the saves were beautiful. The solo plays were amazing. But Shawnee showing a lot of life, showing that they can break on the fast break if the Saints ever get too confident on the attacking end.
Yeah, again, I really have to agree with what you said and what we were talking about earlier in the show. I mean, I think the Saints, when they really want to turn it on, they can sort of find their avenues. The problem is when they underestimate their opponents sometimes, they end up doing stupid stuff. I'm just going to go ahead and say it, right? I mean, there's no reason for the triple commit there. If you have the long clear, no one's even remotely close to getting back. It was the goal from Shawnee State which started it. Again, the first one even came from Arju just trying to hit a clear off his own backboard, which is kind of ill-advised despite where Zai was. It just wasn't placed well at all, and because of that, Shawnee State was able to find the shot. But again, St. Clair, you know, they did bounce back. They had some beautiful team plays to open things up. Jazzy with a clutch save. I believe we'll see a squishy save here from Zai. Yes, there it is. And again, you know what? St. Clair, they turned it up on defense when they had to, but again, overcommits, right? I mean, there's no reason to triple commit there. And Shawnee State, shout out to you. Got to tip my cap because you made it a close one.
Yeah, and 2 of the Saints' 3 goals came straight from kickoff. So in the open play, I mean, Shawnee technically outplayed the Saints in that last game. So Saints a little bit fortunate, I would say, to be having this 1-0 lead in the series. I think now, after seeing what their opponents are capable of, we should probably see the Saints turn it up a notch, like you said, turn it up into that next gear. And I think not allow any silly goals to come off of any defensive mishaps as Arju gonna look to try and start the attack, but it's gonna drop right in front of the goal. An important save there coming out from Jazzy, who's gonna start the counterattack here for the Saints.
Yeah, and again, has the reset and the bump as well. There should be a shot, a double tap almost from Zai. And immediately Arju has to try to find the 50. Zai and Jazzy trying to go for a team pinch. It's led up to Arju, the shot, but it's just barely off target. I believe it was on target, but the save comes through from Duckworth. So Shawnee State right now moving back in transition. Maybe a potential psycho attempt, but now Spooky's going to be able to shut that down. It's going to be Arju has the clear, has a shooter in the middle as well. Opts to elect to use his flip to stall time just to keep on the ball, and Jazzy is maybe extended a little too far up, but it's okay because Zai has that back corner, can clear down to it. The ball goes down, the shooter, Slayer, was just a little too far off his position and will not be able to convert. And for now, St. Clair, they're winning in the midfield, but for how long?
Yeah, they're struggling to really get through this defense of Shawnee, which has been pretty good so far in this game too. Defending every single shot, every single pass, every single play. And it seems like Shawnee have kind of like playing this counter-attacking style where they drop back a little bit, they let the Saints put on the pressure, and they try and hit fast on the break. It could work out for them. Worked out pretty decently last game, as 2 minutes have gone by, no goals coming out from either side. But Arju looking to change that one. Beautiful shot on goal, straight off the post. Unsavable as Saints take a quick 1-0 lead.
Yeah, again, you know what? If you leave a backboard that open for Arju, he's going to make you pay for it. Gets the reset off of it as well. Not that he really needed it at all, but it's just a beautiful shot in general. St. Clair, they jump ahead 1-0, 3:13 to go, and Shawnee State, they've seen nothing but the ball in their own blue half for almost the entire game.
Yeah, now 3 minutes to go. Saints, yet again, in a pretty comfortable situation. Up a goal with a decent amount of time left. Now Shawnee, they are going to be getting desperate the longer this time goes to get a goal themselves. Might see some overextensions from them, as they know they can't just keep playing the way they have and expect to win against the Saints, who have been on the attacking end for most of this game too. Shawnee have really struggled to control the possession, and that's a beautiful pinch there from Jazzy. Gonna double the Saints lead with 2.5 to go.
Well, it's just a 50. Jazzy has the recovery on the ceiling, and he immediately knows where Duckworth is going to take this ball. He sees the path, and he just reads it. It's simple as. Sometimes all that's needed in Rocket League is just to beat your opponent to the ball when it comes to finding the challenges, and that's something that St. Clair have usually been very good at. It's why their possession numbers have been so high, but right now, let's see what Shawnee can do about it. 2-0 right now with 2:30 left to go. This one could be looking to become a rout right now if nothing changes.
Oh!
That one narrowly just almost
There's
falls
Arju.
in. But, I mean, Arju just absolutely faked both Shawnee State defenders. And I want to see a replay of this one live. Spooky
Look at him.
trying to go for the squishy save.
Oh
and
my.
Arju, instead of playing it fast as Spooky thought was going to happen, he just immediately slams on the brakes, takes his time, and looks as both defenders just go by the wayside.
Yeah, and that was just beautiful mechanics there. You can see a big reason why the Saints are where they're at is because of just pure mechanical skill alongside their great teamwork and dedication, as they take a 3-0 lead over Shawnee. Only a couple minutes to go here in Shawnee. I mean, it's not looking good for them. They need to start making some plays themselves rather than relying on the Saints to make misplays, which worked out in game one more or less, but in this game two, the Saints have been pretty flawless defensively. No real dangerous chances here for Shawnee as they started trying to an attack, but Saints easily going to get it back, and they're going to be pushing for another goal themselves. Nice defense there from Duckworth, though, to get rid of the danger.
I was going to say, I'm actually very impressed. It was a really nice read off the ceiling before any Saints could get back to it, but the back pass will now fall down to Arju, and you can just play time here. I mean, Jazzy is there in support. I know they're already looking at Zai. I saw him on the ceiling in the corner of my eye. I knew they were trying to pass to him, but right now, St. Clair, they're just playing slow and steady in their own back end. Arju going to be getting challenged, but it's okay because, again, all of the Saints, they've started to show very supportive characteristics on the defense as they didn't really show in game one. And because of that, I mean, Shawnee State, they are struggling to break through.
Yeah, not much of an offensive game plan that's worked for the Shawnee side in this game too. And 1 minute left remaining. A nice 50 here from Jazz. He's gonna look to start the Saints' fourth goal attack. Nice pass into the middle. A good contest, but now we should get another attack here coming in from Arju. Gets it over the top, but a bit of a miscommunication there as both members were not on the same page. Shawnee get away with it, but 37 seconds remaining. I mean, this one's basically wraps as St. Clair still keeping possession, not letting Shawnee get even an inch of fresh air.
I was going to say, if we really want to break down the possession numbers right now, I mean, you can look at touches, but then again, how many times has Shawnee State looped multiple touches into one possession? Or let's just say, for football terms, dribble success rate. It definitely hasn't been very high, but something that was a high percentage shot was that one right there. Great pass from Duckworth, but we got to see more than that from Shawnee State if they want to beat St. Clair, especially when they're now turning up 100% of the way on offense. They are not allowing Shawnee State to even breathe. It's like they have them in a chokehold, and they're not willing to ease up either. St. Clair, they take a dominant game 2. And Theo, your prediction? It's looking like it's coming into fruition here.
Yeah, it's looking good. I mean, game 1 was very close. 1-goal game, overtime. Game 2, not really the closest games. St. Clair, very dominant. Just a very, very good, solid game. I think if you're a head coach of the Saints, if you're a player, if you're a fan, that's a game that you absolutely love, as they put on an absolute clinic and gave Shawnee zero chance to win the second game.
Yeah, I think it's just all about keeping midfield possession, making sure that the comms are all going through. You know exactly where everybody is, how much boost they're on, letting your teammates know when you're on 0 so they can help support. I think that's a big factor of why St. Clair are able to keep the ball as long as they are able to, especially against some top talent teams as well. So I think that for St. Clair, you just keep doing that. I mean, that's literally it. I haven't even really seen Jazzy have to get a whole lot aggressive, or at least as aggressive as he usually has been in these past NACE series. And for Shawnee State, I mean, they're going for passing plays when they have the opportunity, but what I'm really not seeing at all is anyone trying to make the Saints awkward on defense. I'm not seeing anyone really cut down the line, try to see if they can find any boost steals or demos or bumps, even just the threat of bump, like I said, to get some St. Clair defenders maybe a little optimistic or second guess their positions. There's none of that happening. And when you allow St. Clair to just simply sit on the back line to really look at the big picture, they will be able to intercept those passing lanes, find the saves needed if it even gets to that point, and cut off plays before they're even started.
Absolutely well said. And look at this play. That was a nice one that was cut up by the Saints, but a little bit too quick for Jazzy to catch up to. Would have been a beautiful team goal to start off game 3. As Saints are on match point. Look at it close this one out, and look at that shot on target. Doesn't have the most pace, but look at that bump. Just sitting in the net, Patrick. What's going on here for Shawnee?
I mean, it is what it is. Arju finds the bump, and
Look at Jazzy.
Sai, or sorry, it was
Jazzy.
it was Jazzy actually that found the bump. So there we go. We see Jazzy on that first man aggression a little bit there, and that's a little taste of what he could do. And you know, Zai, you have the time. Why not just go for a musty? Just do it for the culture. So there you go. But St. Clair, they open up the scoring 1-0 now, and with 30 seconds off the clock, Shawnee, they have a lot of work to do. Zai just playing that supportive ball down to Jazz. You can now loop back to Arju for the clear. So again, this is stuff that I'm talking about. When you don't force them awkward, they can really just sort of link up with each other in 1-2-3 passing style. That time, a little bit of a off rotation. That might be why all of a sudden Shawnee, they had their opportunities, but St. Clair, they've just got to watch it. That might be an open net, and there you go.
I mean,
sometimes you don't need the first man aggression. You know what? They've said, hey, you know what, Pat? Shut up, because that's not all we can do. It's a beautiful pass and a beautiful shot. They catch St. Clair lacking.
Yeah, happens again here in game 3. Saints get a bit too aggressive. And you can see Spooky in the chat saying reverse sweep incoming. So Shawnee, they're feeling good after that one, and you know, the Saints gave him some life to feel good about. And a nice goal, as you said, they're beautiful passing play. But now the Saints looking to break on the counterattack. Won't get too far. Is that shot on target? Yes, it is. But what a save coming out there from Arju. Keeps the Saints in. And yeah, Shawnee playing a lot better in this game 3 and really giving themselves a shot in this series.
Well, again, even though it didn't really result in anything, I like that I'm seeing Duckworth now challenge the Saints on their back line, making sure that they have not a lot of space to move. And yeah, it results in some shots falling through, but you've got to watch out for yourself. Spooky staying composed in the back line, able to find the first, and Duckworth with the clear. The demo downfield as well, and that should open up everything for Shawnee State. But Spooky, you've got to hit that ball. You have the shooter inbound, and that's not one that Shawnee State are looking to give up.
Yeah, that's a tough play there, obviously, but one you definitely expect them to make, as could have taken the lead there for Shawnee. But 2 minutes through this game, we're all tied up at 1 apiece. Saints, the ones on the attack to start this off. There's Jazz with a shot, but there was a demo coming out for the side of Shawnee Saints. Looking to answer right back with a demo of their own, and now starting the counterattack. Zai gets it to himself, but is a little bit too hard on it. Still, the follow-up shot's going to come through from Jazzy, but the save is there from Shawnee Saints. Golden opportunity there, but just cannot capitalize.
Well, again, Zai trying to go for the Zen special, the ceiling pinch into the double. I do believe I was going to say we have Jazzy looking for a bump as Arju tries to fill the lane, but Spooky just barely able to get there. Finds the save. Arju, great control, able to have another flip to force it up front. The air dribble trying to 50 it out, but it's not going to happen. Shawnee State, it's all drawn up at 1-0, but right now they're definitely scrambling. Double commit in the backfield, and that was almost one for St. Clair. A shot that usually 99 times out of 100 should be dropping for them, but it doesn't. And because of that, everything still remains a breadstick apiece.
Yeah, I mean, Shawnee, they're doing about as well as they can defensively. Saints having opportunities, but just cannot put the ball in the back of the net. As now Zai going to get it into the corner here. Arju going to be the first one to it. Trying to get it to a teammate in the middle, but good defense there coming out from Shawnee. Zai, though, going to restart this play, but it falls apart. Shawnee should maybe look to start the counter, but they give the ball away so easily. But Saints way too committed there, and a free goal for Shawnee yet again.
They missed!
They missed, Patrick!
Oh my god!
How'd they miss?
What? That can't actually. That's got to be trolled.
That's not
that's not good.
That's not good.
The Saints right now should be down 2-1. That is unfortunate and a very big mental shocker as well to Shawnee State. I mean, that's as free as they come, and it's tough. But you know, sometimes I've heard players, especially I heard at the SGS LAN, you know, when you're playing players of this caliber, sometimes the nerves get to you, right?
Yeah.
And again, I'm not saying that's an excuse to miss an open net as wide open as that one, but at the same time,
it is.
yeah, there are things that can be said about it. Unfortunately for Shawnee, they find themselves on the wrong end of this, but the game's not over. I was going to say, they can make something work. Duckworth was just up a little too early and didn't have the angle. With 41 seconds left to go, at the very minimum, if they don't concede, it goes into overtime, but that's a really great flick. And because of that, the Saints will jump 2 ahead, or at least 2-1. As Arju has what could definitely be the final dagger.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Shawnee has played better in this game 3, and they deserve to have the lead. But St. Clair up to 30 seconds away from a sweep here in this series. Shawnee one last push here, and they get a wide open goal. Saints, all they need to do is play defense. I don't know what they decided they want to do, and Shawnee tied up at 2 apiece.
Look, I mean, I was saying it could have been the final dagger just because of how dominant we've seen St. Clair in the midfield so far, but in kickoff, I forgot. Kickoff strats, anything can happen. So there you go, Shawnee State. They tie it right back up. They find their counterpunch, and all of a sudden, now I don't know how this one's going to end.
Yeah.
We have Shawnee now on the aggression. Spooky, that's a great fake. Is able to find a 50 as well, but it's a miss-touch from Shawnee State, and now the fake. Oh, Arju, that was almost so sinister, but it didn't quite fall, and right now, Shawnee State, they have to watch out. Zai, reset, has the pass. It's Arju, he's looking for the follow-up, but no, Jazzy! He was turning around, but a member of Shawnee State, I believe, actually bumps him into this ball. Let's look at this here. No. Yeah, it was Slayer. I believe Slayer actually bumps Jazzy into the ball. Now, granted, Jazzy could have just backflipped or half-flipped into it, but still, that's just unfortunate. With 6 seconds left to go, though, who knows? A fake comes through, but St. Clair, they're aware of this. All of a sudden, Slayer with control can go for the Moxie flick, but no, it's just barely going to hit the crossbar. And because of that, Shawnee State, they need to keep it up. Duckworth, off the ceiling, can try to find Spooky inbound for a shot to Slayer, but it can't happen. It's going to be the touch, though, and the save from Arju, staying composed in net. It's going to be what most likely ends this. However, Shawnee State, they still have Spooky. He has boost. He's beaten one. Can a shooter or a passer get found? There's the shot. It's going to just barely drop in! The crossbar, the 4th member on defense. Shawnee State, they almost tied it.
That would have went in.
And if it hadn't been 1 second left on the clock, I'm not going to lie, Theo, they would definitely be going to overtime if it was then after. That is incredible.
I don't really know if I like that from the Saints. I mean, they could have easily ended the game, and they started just bumping each other.
I think they started trolling.
Exactly, and they tend to do that, which I don't really like. I don't think you should do, but they do it. You know, I'm not one to control them, but it doesn't matter in the end. They come out on top, 3 games, 2-0. Let's take a look at some wonderful replays from that 3rd game.
Yeah, again, right, Jazzy with the bump on the Slayer. There's not really much you can do there. Zai just has all the time in the world, so it's not a hard one for him to put away. That's a great save from Arju, and immediately the follow-up comes through, but it doesn't happen. I'm just waiting to see this open net miss from Shawnee, because technically if that goes in, they'd be ahead right now.
We'd be in game 4, maybe.
We would, yeah. Maybe my 3-1 would have come to
Exactly.
fruition, but it's because of whoever missed that open net. Shame on you. No, I'm just kidding. It is what it is. And I think St. Clair, you know what? It does go to show that what I was talking about earlier does happen. Sometimes St. Clair, they play a little bit trolly on the defense and the offense. We even see there, Jazzy, yes, gets the goal from the bump, but
turn around.
that was another triple commit.
Yeah.
Like, that's another triple commit. If a long clear happens there, there's nothing that St. Clair can do to stop that. No one's going to be back in time. So, again, you know what? Props to Shawnee for showing up, for competing, and it is what it is. They don't find a game, but they did make it
The close to
an entertaining series and not exactly the stomping that a lot of people would have had in mind.
Yeah, they went to overtime. The last game was ended in the last 5 seconds. A very close game. The only real dominant game for the Saints was in Game 2. But yeah, Shawnee, I mean, they've only played 2 matches this season, 0-2. They have a bunch of matches coming up soon, so they played pretty good about the Saints. I think they play against the Saints. I think they'll be feeling pretty good about themselves going into the rest of their season and look to turn things around. But Saints 5-0, they're looking to continue this season strong, and you know, they don't have too many games left in the regular season. A perfect season is looking very, very reasonable for them.
Yeah, I think so. It's not anything that I would put past St. Clair. I think something that they did really good that game, while it wasn't necessarily Jazzy's aggression that came through, because at least until later, I think that St. Clair, especially Arju, his ability to buy time in the midfield and keep midfield possession is really unrivaled in NACE. He's one of the best to do it, and he's one of the best to continuously do the exact same thing. He's so consistent week after week, game after game, session after session. And I think that is something that St. Clair does really well, and we saw that on full display today. I'm literally just trying to think to myself, Theo, right now, how many times did we see Shawnee end up with the ball and maybe keep possession for more than 5 seconds?
Not
I'm going to tell you right now, I could definitely count the amount, off of one hand. I don't think that many times would reach my second hand, Theo. I'm not gonna lie, but it goes to show you just how dominant St. Clair are, especially in that midfield. And again, that's all because of communication.
Yeah, absolutely. A great performance from our Saints. But that's going to be it for Rocket League for today. But don't go anywhere. We have some Valorant coming up. It's going to be Saints taking on Cumberland at 9:20 p.m. here. Or 8:20 p.m. Sorry. A big matchup in Valorant. 2 very, very top teams. And yeah, you can see it back there. So yeah, we're going to be back here at 8:20. Back at the stream. And we're going to be back here with Draft for Game 1. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back, Saints Nation. I am Patrick Smoke Chambers, joined by my co-caster, Theo, the Holy Juan. Theo, we just got done casting some NACE Varsity Premier Super Conference RL, but now we got to jump into the Valorant side of things as we have St. Clair going up against Cumberland. And wow, this one is going to be a doozy. I definitely have it going 3 maps for sure. We were talking about it a little bit earlier, and yeah, I'm very excited.
Yeah, it's going to be a really, really good match, I hope, as well. We saw Saints last week have an absolutely amazing map 2. There were 34 rounds in that one. Back and forth, they would pull it out. They moved to 4-0 on the season, and they've just been playing very, very well so far. A lot of close matches, but they've been able to get the victory in the end.
Yeah, I mean, the Saints, they have a tough schedule ahead of them. I know we have the Cumberland matchup right now, but for the next 2 weeks, it's going to be Winthrop and Maryville. So right now, let's get into our lineups for what we have for today. It's going to be Chillin', Fair Instinct, Tillo, and Truth, the same lineup as we saw last time. And nothing subject to change as these guys have been killing it so far, undefeated.
Yeah, great job from them. Just everyone making the big plays at the right times. We saw last week especially some very, very clutch plays in the second half when they really need to get back into map 2. When they were down bad, they made some insane clutches, and then the team really rallies together. So great composure from these Saints. Even when they go down early, they're always able to come back and find the victory for every game of the season so far.
Yeah, well, I mean, Cumberland, they haven't really found that much success in the same way. They are 1-2 so far in the Super Conference as they've lost to UST 0-2 in 2 maps, and they lost to Winthrop, but they were almost able to actually take that series within 2 games, which is quite surprising. They won game 1 against Winthrop, who is the 2nd seed right now in our power rankings. If you want, we can pull that up very quickly as well. As let's look at the power rankings right now for where we stand. It's just behind us. So as you see, we have Winthrop as the number 2. Maryville moves up as the number 1. St. Clair sitting pretty in 3rd place, but hopefully those are subject to change as we look down and see Cumberland Phoenix. They're at 9th. But I will say they've definitely lost to some teams that I would say are, very strong. We see UST, they're at number 7, and again, the fact that they were almost able to eke out a 2-0 win against Winthrop. I mean, I know they lost the series, but that speaks volumes.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. You can see they went up a ranking from the last time they ranked, moving from 10th to 9th. So they're moving in the right direction, even with losses. They're playing well against super heavy hitter teams. So yeah, great job from them. But speaking of the Saints, we have a little interview on our hands. So let's head there right now. Truth, how are you doing today, my man?
Hey guys, I'm doing incredible today.
Hey, we know you have a few tough matches coming up after today, but focusing on the matchup today, how are you guys feeling against Cumberland?
We're feeling really good. We've been practicing a lot. We've been winning games. We're undefeated pretty much, and we're ready to take them out.
Yeah, I think a question that I have for you right now, Truth, is we've been kind of seeing how you guys are a lot more of an attacking, reliant team than defending. Since last series against Fisher, what steps have you guys taken to really improve, even if it's just a little bit by bit, on that defense?
Yeah, you said it best. Our attack is really good. I think a lot of that comes from how good our IGL is. I think he's really reactive and really good situationally. And so defensive side, it's no longer on him. It's kind of on us. And we've been kind of figuring out how to play our defense off of that, less of his guidance and more us figuring it out. And we've done a great job, and we look forward to showing it today.
Yeah, I think doing that, the Saints roster, it's definitely a mental team. I know sometimes when you guys ride that wave, you guys just absolutely blow out the competition. And sometimes when you guys are in your woes, you kind of sink and almost dig graves for yourselves as well. And sometimes it can happen very early. I know that for the Saints team, pistol rounds have kind of been something that have been lacking a little bit in the department of. What do you think the reasons for this are, and what are you taking the steps in your team to improving on those results as well? By the way, I will say you guys did a phenomenal job of those when you were versing Fisher last week.
Yeah, I think mentality has definitely been one of our biggest struggles, something that we've been trying to move past. But at the same time, we're able to cope under the pressure. We'll maybe get upset at one another, disagree on things, but at the end of the day, we all want to win, and we can rile it back in when it really matters, when it's on the edge, when we might lose. We clutch up.
Yeah, I was going to say, you've said it best, because to be fair, I know these questions, they're a little more harsh on you guys, but at the end of the day, so far, you guys have always been able to find an answer and prevail, tried and true, on top. And hopefully that's going to be the result here. Please, 2-0, let's just send them back, you know what I mean? Let's just give Cumberland a sweet defeat. We can move on, but, you know, it's going to be a doozy of a game, and it's going to be a wondrous experience to cast your games, Truth. So thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having me, guys.
All right. And then we move on. So nice little insight from Truth there, as I think he said it best. Mental is one of the biggest struggles for St. Clair, but I think that's something that they're working on, and I think that they're already so good with that problem, right? You have to assume that if they iron that out and completely get into control of their emotions sometimes mid-game when they can ramp high, I mean, they're going to be almost an unstoppable force. So far from what I've seen from this roster, I'm very impressed. And yes, they have problems, they have gaps. Every team does, but at the same time, especially in that series against Fisher that was showcased, I think when it comes to things like pistol rounds, for example, that was one of the things that I pointed out right there with Truth, and I think that, you know, was something that they worked on because the proof was in the pudding, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, they're the top level of competitors. They all want to win so bad, so when things don't go wrong, it's not that they hate their teammates, they don't like how the teammates play, they just want to win so badly, they get really invested in the game, and that's good. It's a good problem to have. Exactly, it's a good thing to have, so, you know, hopefully they smoothen things out as season goes by. As you said, they're 4-0 on the season, smooth sailing, should be able to win today, but yeah, these next upcoming matches against Maryville and Winthrop also going to be really important. Hopefully they don't overthink about those games and really focus on Cumberland today.
Yeah, well, I think something that they point, or at least Truth pointed out in the interview that you really want to talk about is their IGLing as well, right? I think their IGLs does an amazing job on their attack, and that's why they're so successful. And we were honestly going back and forth as well, just kind of shooting ideas off of another. And you came up with something really nice, a really good point about why maybe these defensive woes and attacking triumphs are happening. It's because of the fact that St. Clair, they really like to pick into maps with 3 bomb sites. We noticed that they like Haven, they like Lotus, and they're definitely okay with Fracture. I know sometimes it's kind of a hit or miss, but at the same time, this might be one of the reasons why we're seeing this, right? Because of the fact that you have that 3rd bomb site, there's so much more room to operate for that attack, and sometimes for the defense, you kind of get spread a little bit too thin.
Yeah, I mean, if you're like loading up 2 people on A site, 2 people on C site, and they 5-hit a C site, it's hard to defend with just 2 members.
Yeah.
It makes the maps way more attack favored. That's why we see these huge attacking rounds every single week from the Saints, and their opponents, you know, half the time they've been there, right there with them. A lot of overtimes this season for the Saints, and they've been able to come out on every single map, have not dropped a single map all season. But I think if they can just pick it up a tiny bit defensively, maybe win a pistol round, win the 2nd round, get off to a good start on defense. We haven't really seen that too much from the Saints. Today, I really hope we get to see a good start to a map.
Yeah, you know what? I think that for St. Clair, things that they're going to want to avoid are maps like Abyss and Bind. We've seen them kind of crumble before on those. Actually, to Fisher, as we were seeing CECC quals earlier last week. But again, maps that they want right now, definitely Lotus and Haven are their top 2. And speaking of which, it's because the players can do incredible things on those maps. And someone I want to focus on, if we find that Lotus pick, if that does come through, is definitely going to be Instinct, the one to watch. You pointed out last time how he likes playing Clove on Lotus, which isn't usually something that we see Instinct go into. I usually view him more of a Sentinel player myself, so I think that when I'm seeing him on the controller, especially the Clove, I was kind of thinking, well, this is a little bit of an off roll that I'm used to seeing. But you know what? It worked out not only well for St. Clair, but well for Instinct, because the frag numbers were absolutely sensational. Talk to me a little bit of why we thought that Clove on Lotus is just working for Instinct.
Well, one thing, she can just take control of bomb sites so easily, and also one thing I noticed, Instinct plays her very lurky, looks for aggressive picks, tries to get in the enemy spawn, some walk up B, probably half the rounds and look for a flank. It worked out most of the time, and then with his ultimate, once he dies, he pops the self-res, and then the whole team pushes. They take control of the map, and he's just able to find picks left and right on that Clove pick. So if it does go to that map, I definitely expect a Clove pick coming out from the Saints.
Yeah, I mean, speaking about maps, so we were talking about it earlier, let's go. Here are the map bans coming through, so it's going to be Bind banned out. There's that Lotus pick, there's that Haven pick as well, and then we see that the Abyss gets banned out, and then we see our decider is on Pearl. So a little bit of an interesting one, as I don't usually see St. Clair on Pearl all that much, if that goes through, but again, it seems like they have their 2 picks. They have their 2 favorite maps in theory as their first 2. So you would expect that St. Clair get it done in 2-0 fashion, but you never know because Cumberland, they are no team to sleep on. Like we said, they brought it to map 3 against Winthrop and almost 1 and 2 as well. So on their day, if Cumberland peak, it is definitely going to be a very hard game. Definitely a performance in top 5 power rankings, maybe even top 3 to be argued about if Cumberland are on their day, and I think that that's going to be hard to deal with for St. Clair.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not too sure why Saints always get the maps they want. Enemy teams just pick it into them every week, and I think it's because they're seeing the fact that other teams are having success against the Saints on these maps. There's overtime, there's very close maps, but Saints are yet to drop a map, and they haven't really been playing their absolute best. They know that they haven't been playing at their peak. I think the best is still to come for this team, and I think today would be the perfect week to start that winning culture on the defensive end, because going into the next few weeks, you're going to need that to take down the top dogs.
I was going to say, I think actually, if anything, like the mental strategy behind giving them Lotus is because you then get to choose the side. So again, I think that if you let them pick Lotus, right, you can then be like, okay, well, you know what, Lotus is such a great map for a lot of teams to attack because of that triple bomb site. So yeah, you know what, let's take it, because if we can just absolutely stomp the Saints on attack, then obviously we can hope that the mental struggles that we know that sometimes their players are more mentally emotional than others. We know that we can maybe get them into digging their own grave, and then maybe they don't have that strong of an attack, and all of a sudden, boom, we've taken their first map, their map, off of them, and then we can get to pick into our next one, which I guess it seems that Cumberland really likes Haven, and again, it seems like St. Clair, they're going to be the ones to at least get to start on the attack, but when it comes to the defensive side, guys, let's please, for the love of God, let's just be able to defend a C take, please, on Haven. Yeah. Gotta pray.
I mean, what we saw last time wasn't too good, and now let's take a look at the picks here for both teams. Saints, they're going with a lineup they love to play on this map. It's gonna be Omen, Raze, Clove, Fade, and a Vice here. And on the side of Cumberland, they're going for Viper, Raze, Omen, Fade, and a Vice. So a Viper pick here for Cumberland. What do you think about that one, Patrick?
So this isn't very, at least, uncommon from what I'm used to seeing before. It's not, every day that we see the Viper get picked out, but I've seen it before on Lotus, just being able to split everything down in 2, especially when we're dealing with 3 bomb sites. It just makes everything so much more confusing, and especially when we look at kind of how the bomb sites are structured in Lotus, when we're talking about a Viper pit, it really does make for a great use of the ultimate. It just works well with how the bomb sites are just configured. So I'm not surprised at all that I'm seeing this from Cumberland. Now, what I will say is what's very interesting is that the Vise comes out from both teams. This is someone who I believe we only saw from one map, if I'm not mistaken, last year's against Fisher. We might have not even seen it at all. I'm not really remembering it. I think it was one map. I think we saw it on one map, but again, it's not every day you see both teams pick into it, so it's very interesting. I'm not surprised at all to see Chillin on Omen. That's really his instant lock. He's been an Omen main ever since he came here, and he makes it work, to say the least. I was going to say, I think we really didn't talk about Chillin all too much in that first map, but he was definitely someone who was getting his role done, making sure that he was supporting the team when Clove Instinct was making those lurks, so they kind of swapped positions. So that's kind of why they run that double controller, because usually you would expect Chillin to be the one trying to lurk with Omen. That's kind of what the agents meant for, but in this scenario, they play very differently. So it's no surprise to see that with Instinct on Clove, you're running that double controller based on the way that he plays the Clove.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see, did Cumberland do their research? Do they know that Instinct loves to walk up mid on the defense? And that's going to be an important thing to see, as it's going to be the Saints starting on the defensive end, as you said, and Cumberland on attack. And Cumberland, I mean, it's a very important pistol round. Everyone knows the Saints struggles with the pistols, but if they can take a defensive round here for themselves, it would be a great start to the map and a very important matchup.
Well, I cannot help but agree exactly with what you're saying, but it's going to be Instinct starting things off strong with the pick onto Wadi, and immediately gets traded back out, though, by the Vise. And now St. Clair actually pushing up a little more than I thought they were. It really doesn't seem to be that way. You want to be a little more patient, but they just take swings, and immediately the pistol woes come through because it's a round where you have to show patience, and right now it just isn't happening. Cumberland, it's almost as if the sides are actually, if anything, swapped. It was St. Clair, especially on that A side, who tried to move up and try to force the aggression when they really didn't have to.
Yeah, we didn't really see that too much from them last time out on this map, but this time they go for the aggressive play. It doesn't work out. He started the round off with a pick of his own, but didn't back out, stayed there, died afterwards, and kind of opened up the map, and then that A push just did not work out. Great round there from Cumberland. They win the first round. Now they're going to buy up some heavy artillery for the second one.
I was going to say, Fowen should have no troubles at all being able to afford a Vandal this round, so that's going to be what you need to watch out for. That's the Viper lineup on the second time. You've seen the wall go down A, but we'll see. Is it Phantom pressure right now? It's going to be the Rays just trying to dip in and out, but there's that flank. It's going to be chillin' right now on the Omen. It's a double as well. There's going to be the first one taken down with the classic JP. The Viper gone off the board.
And that's an Outlaw in the hand of the Saints. I mean, you can see not everyone on full shield here. This Omen will get one shot by that. A great pickup for the Saints. Now they just need to stall out a bit of time here as Cumberland look to hit the point, and they're hitting it pretty quickly. A big raise nade does a lot of damage. Tillo and Clair going to be the first two to fall down, but there's a trade back from Instinct, makes their 3-on-3 Saints, trying to at least make this round expensive as this Raise going to climb up here, finds a couple body shots, but still staying alive here. Now the plant comes through, still 3v3. Health bars for Cumberland. Omen really low HP, but Woody finds a pick onto Instinct in this corner. Down goes Chillin'. Now it's a 1v3 situation. In truth, only has the classic. Probably taking a bit too much time here. Should look for that kill.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, the second that Cumberland, though, hear the drop, it's going to be all over. So there we go. There's the audio, and immediately Woody knows exactly what's happened here. So just going to sit inside of the smoke, get ready to take the peek, and immediately when we're talking about a classic going up against a Bulldog, well, it's no surprise we know what the victor there is 99% of the time.
Yeah, it would have been very nice if he found that kill onto Omen, who was on 6 HP. Would have hurt their economy a little bit for Cumberland, but still, a couple of kills for the Saints to get rid of a couple of weapons here. Now they have a full buy of their own. Need to win this third round because of Cumberland win the bonus. It's going to be extremely easy to get rolling on this attack with everything you want. And it looks like Saints, they're 3-stacking the C site. If Cumberland go quickly towards A, it should be pretty easy point for them.
I was just saying, that's exactly what it looks like. Cumberland, they're just tripling down right now on that Viper wall into A, and as they disperse, here we go. Things are going to have to get messy. This Vise knows about positions on C Mound, and immediately, as we were talking about it earlier, this could be the start of a mental, I guess, debunking for St. Clair. If they just don't win this third round, I could see it where they could start sort of digging their own grave, as we were talking about earlier. So this is very important right now for St. Clair. So here we go. It's definitely another A take. They're going to be able to grab the ult horde with the Rays as well. So just feeding into that. And for St. Clair, you just got to play patient and just wait for the execute. Make sure that you can waste as much utility as possible. We see some shots going through tree, but nothing getting found out. And now it seems like, based on where everyone is positioned from Cumberland, they're going to look to see if they can take a B site as well. But Chillin' is waiting with open arms.
And Truth finds the first pick onto the Viper here, but Fair gets taken out. A big swing from Chillin', but too many members from Cumberland who have taken this B site very quickly. Tillo has to back up and give up the free plant to Cumberland, who have the numbers here, but Tillo gonna be able to take down the Race, makes it a 3-on-3 situation. But still, it's Saints who need to find the retake. They have better weapons, they have the Vandals, and the retake's gonna begin with Tillo. He's gonna peek middle. Nobody's here inside this B side, and the swing's gonna come through. Truth finds one, gets traded out. Now Saints have a little bit more information to work with. As Tillo and Instinct looking to pull off the clutch. They have a 2v1. They spot him out and they find the kill. A good clutch there from the Saints gives them their first round.
Good shots from Instinct's going to confirm the round, but they had a great crossfire there as Cumberland. They did a great job of immediately realizing where they can switch onto the pressure, right? You take out the Omen with the double swing, and immediately it frees up the entire site. You can get the plant down, you can set up. But St. Clair, they just did something that they are kind of working on. They've seen struggles in the past, and that's retakes. Whenever post plants get put down on the defense, St. Clair, sometimes the retakes, they just haven't really been there. But in this case, they've done a very good job of setting up.
Yeah, and they were down in numbers. They needed to somehow make it work. Big kills left and right, and now, I mean, they won't have the best of weaponry, a couple of Guardians on board, but another big round here. If Saints can win this one, they can start racking up some confidence on defense and put themselves in a prime position to take down this first map, but it's another A push from Cumberland, and Saints yet again looks like they're going to be playing the retake.
Well, I mean, it's not the same map, but I'm just seeing shades of what happened with Fisher on Haven. I mean, it was just the same thing. Let's just batter C site again and again and again. And for Cumberland, it's definitely going to be the A site that's trying to find the work. Just runs right by, though. Hold the wave. I don't believe he's found anybody. The rocket launcher goes out, but he finds nothing. Somehow, the Saint player lived on Heaven, and now all of a sudden, Truth is going to be able to take down Saw.
How is he even in this position? Spots one more out. I mean, Paul kills one through the smoke, but Woody finds a couple kills instantly back. There's going to be the fatal coming out, but Saints looking to play quickly. Tillo going to be next to fall. 2v2 now as Instinct takes down the Raze. Fair finds a one-tap onto Woody, and one member remaining. They know around the area of where this fate could be, and it's just a matter of time. Viper right around the corner. Instinct sees it, gets the headshot. A beautiful retake again coming up from the Saints.
Yeah, and you know what? It really has to go, it can't go unannounced. Raze, what happened there? For Cumberland, that was insane. Misses the player tucked in and then immediately goes to take the vertical control and doesn't see the other one as well. Flicks back as the shots rain in, but somehow, I believe it was Instinct.
He got scared of the rocket.
Instinct top, I guess, lived that somehow? Like, that was unreal. That was unbelievable. So, I mean, we take it.
I'll take it.
Instinct, he's staying with his ways as we know him on Lotus, because currently being the top fragger and by a nautical mile.
And you can see he's trying to walk up mid again. He's going to be awaiting these players here. I think he has the ultimate, finds the opening pick, finds two Instinct, doing it all, looking to swing mid, gets his head taken off, but Truth finds the Viper, and now Instinct gonna res. Look at the Saints, they're gonna push into the spawn of Cumberland here, and Instinct has another free life around this corner, gonna spot one out, gets the reset, does go down, but the rest of the Saints gonna come to the position. Fair, missing some shots there, but Saints, a beautiful round off the back of Instinct.
It's okay, you know what? Sometimes it's just a little bit of a burger showdown. You know, who burgers out more? And in that time period, Fair, he was able to land the shots. So there you go. You're not the worst burger. But right now, I have to say St. Clair did a good job of coming back and taking a 3-round sweep. And immediately, I have to say, Instinct, he's just continuing his winning ways. He's been an absolute demon on Lotus with the Clove, and it seems like all of that pre-game analysis has paid off for us, Theo.
Hey, as of right now, it's looking good. Saints, they're winning on defense, which is not what we've seen from them as of late. Fair, very beautiful position here. They have no idea he's here. You can see they're not even looking towards this smoke, and Chillin finds the initial pick. Fair could swing at any moment here.
This could be
He's
insane.
just going to wait out the smoke. Just going to try and spray through it. Peeks out at the wrong time there, and it's a 1-for-1 trade. Chillin in this corner, throws out the smoke. Both of them are flashed. Chillin finds the kill, gets taken down. It's a 2-on-2. Spike is down as Instinct. He's here with just a pistol and Truth. A big 1v1 here against Viper.
Well, this is tough. Can he land the flick? No, not quite.
He did.
Oh my god, I thought he didn't for a second. It was actually JP as the perspective switch. It was just such a flick that I didn't even think was fathomable. It didn't look like it. Yeah, but it works out in St. Clair now. They find themselves on top of a 2v1 advantage, but they need to do another retake. It's going to be the Vise for Cumberland, who has the spike down on C and can just elect to hold. One going through Mound, one going through Waterfall, so has to try to isolate these gunfights. He's done a very good job of finding the first one, though. Is going to be Instinct down for the count, and now it's going to be the primary jammed out because that other Vise ult has worked, so all of a sudden Truth has the advantage, but just has to play patient right now and finds the headshot. Foen, a great job realizing he has all the time in the world. Here's that spike getting diffused, and yeah, obviously you got to push that, but it doesn't happen. You have the